Hey everybody, me again. Just coming to you from Little Naches with Taz as always. And today, I'd like to tell you a story. But first, let's go for a ride. Well, once again, hello and welcome everybody back to beautiful, not so small Little Naches, riding trail 941. It goes from Crow Creek Campground, if you ever want to navigate yourself here to ride these trails, because they are phenomenal. And if you get to Crow Creek Campground, directly across the main road is the trailhead for this trail. And it goes all the way up to Pyramid Peak. Round trip there and back, nets you about 35 or so miles. And it's just a hoot. Really fun ride. Some easy sections, a little bit of flowy, some gnarly stuff, kind of the whole ball of wax, if you will. So I suggest you give it a go if you ever find yourself in the area of Chinook Path. It's a nice place to be. But I digress, because I promised you guys a story, and a story you shall have. Once upon a time, not so long ago, your buddy Rick here was sitting in his office at work doing his thing, and along came his good buddy. Now this good buddy, for the sake of embarrassment and anonymity, shall remain nameless, but he damn well knows who he is, of course. And at the time when he walked in, I was having, I wouldn't call it, a tough day, but kinda. It had been a tough time at work. It was very busy and very overwhelming. To me, anyway. Now everybody's different in that regard, and that's all fine and dandy, but nevertheless, it was, it was challenging at the time. So I asked him, I said, hey buddy, you run a pretty successful company, but you are the busiest man on the planet, and you deal with an immense amount of stress. And I said, I'm kind of struggling right now. You got to tell me, how do you do this? How do you do everything you do in a day in and day out, without ever faltering? It's kind of amazing. And he kind of got this look in his eyes, and he set his wallet and his phone and his keys on my desk, and he gave me the answer for about 45 minutes. It really is the long and short of it, but I'll shorten it up for you, because I know you guys got other shit to do. So he proceeded to tell me a story about getting his bulldozer stuck, of all things, which I didn't really see the correlation at the time until he finished it. So this man has a pretty good sized bulldozer on his property that they're finishing up for building their house on, and it's beautiful. But at one point, he got this bulldozer stuck, and I mean stuck, like it ain't coming out of there unless you get something real big in there stuck. And he's got other stuff to do. Like I say, he's probably one of the busiest guys on the planet, to my knowledge. And, he deals with a lot of stress day in and day out. And, that's just something that happened to you and I in that situation. We'd be pissing and moaning and jumping up and down and swearing and you name it. But not this guy. He just looked at it, and his only thought to get this thing unstuck, which took days, by the way, and money, and it was a bit of an endeavor to get this thing out on top of everything else he had to do. He said, how lucky am I to have this bulldozer to get stuck in the first place? And at that point, I just sat down and shut up. And I was taken aback by that remark, because I hate to say it, but there's, the term white people problems or first world problems or what have you. We bitch if our phone dies, or or, you know, the gas price goes up 5 cents a gallon or something like that, you know. And to hear this man, a very successful man, mind you, but, you know, busy nonetheless, talk about this situation in such a positive light, it took me back to thinking, well, what I'm dealing with is really nothing relative to that. So the moral of the story, you guys, since that day, every time I have a bad day or I'm dealing with something that would be rather tumultuous, or, you know, got some tribulation going on, what have you, I've been trying to think to myself, how lucky am I to be in this situation, to have to deal with this turmoil in the first place? Because of my job, there are people out there that would give their left two lug nuts to be in my position. And I'm very thankful for that every day. Even though sometimes it's arduous and it's stressful, and, you know, you got to get out here and pull the trigger on your dirt bike just to offset, you know, make yourself happy again. But the thing is, relative to a lot of people in the world, our problems are really not that bad. So when you find yourself in one of those situations, just remember about the man and his bulldozer, and just think to yourself, well, how lucky am I to have the things I have in my life in the first place? And somebody else down the road might have more than you, but you know what? Someone else down the road the other way, you got more than them. So just appreciate what you got while you got it, and don't let the little things bother you, is my point. And to this man, whom I tell you the story about, buddy, I know you're out there and I know you're listening, that one story has stuck with me since the day you told me. And I remember it every day. You, sir, are one of the better souls I have ever met in my life. And I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you for that and everything else. And I hope, truly and genuinely, that you guys have that friend or that companion or what have you in your life that, you know, when times are tough, or you're thinking in negative lights or what have you, that they come in, tell you to quit being such a puss cake and suck it up and be positive about it. I feel very fortunate in my own life to have friends that do just that. Because, hey, we're all a little bit of a puss cake every once in a while. So if I can spread that wisdom from him to you guys, I hope it's for the betterment of your own day-to-day life, even if it's just a little bit. And never forget to appreciate the things you have and the things you got, and just enjoy it. And while you're at it, oh, you should probably go get yourself a dirt bike and come right down the hills, because it is bloody hoots. So having said all that, as always, take care of yourselves out there, everybody, and damn it, take care of each other. We'll see you real soon. Cheers.